Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Dale Carnegie. Experts say we are born with only two fears: loud noises and falling from heights. Everything else is learned. Think about that for a moment. Most fears we have learned. If you can learn something, you can unlearn it, but it does take a bit of work. It makes sense that loud noises, especially as a child, would scare us. A boulder crashing down a hill or a massive tree tipping over would be situations to avoid for sure. By the same token, falling off a cliff would have disastrous results too. So these built-in natural fears serve a purpose. In the past, you only had to be wrong once, say not hearing the lion roar, for a catastrophic event. What about us today though? Why does fear all too often take a dominant role in our lives? Why does it limit our potential, who we meet, what we do, what we strive for, and shape our identity? Some have turned fear into an acronym: false evidence appearing real, or forget everything and run. When we experience fear, there are three common responses: fight, flight, or freeze. Fear is experienced in your mind, but triggers a strong physical reaction in your body. As soon as you recognize fear, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are released into your body. Your blood pressure and heart rate increase. You start breathing faster. People can get cold or sweaty. What triggers fear in us in the first place? This is not an all-encompassing list, but here are some common fears we have today: public speaking, spiders, snakes, the government, clowns, death, thunder, needles, dogs, crowds, diseases, flying, heights, ghosts, social situations, germs, drowning, claustrophobia, cancer, and darkness. According to Christopher Bader, a sociology professor at Chapman University, having a lower level of education, particularly having only a high school diploma, GED, or less, was the most consistent predictor of fear. Why do people with less education have more fear? Perhaps they have learning differences and don't know why they failed. Their lack of understanding creates uncertainty in themselves and opens them up to being more susceptible to fear. Unfortunately, fear feeds on itself and often causes people to spiral downward. When you can't figure something out, especially if it is specifically about yourself, it makes you feel like such a worthless mess. Another fear-inducing factor is watching television, particularly talk shows or negative news. It seems the more you hear about problems, the larger they become to you. What you focus on expands. What are you feeding your mind with? What's the long-term impact of that? Are the things you consume on social media, for example, increasing or decreasing the precursors that lead to fear? Are the stories about personal safety violations, mistakes made by the government, people being victimized, reminders of your phobias, or concerns about the future, such as losing your job or running out of money, feeding your fears? Fear is programmed into the nervous system and works like an instinct. From the time we're infants, we are equipped with the survival instincts necessary to respond with fear when we sense danger or feel unsafe. Fear's job is to protect us from harm. It alerts us to danger and prepares us to deal with it. It's our built-in warning system so we can respond before the danger occurs. Throughout history, certain animals, such as snakes and spiders, have caused high numbers of illnesses and deaths. Some researchers believe we have an innate instinct to avoid such creatures. So far, we have mostly been talking about fears that deal with personal safety. This fear is designed to protect us from harm. There's also the fear associated with being unsure. This is where a lack of confidence plays a huge role. If you are doing something new or stretching yourself, you aren't in physical danger the same way you would be with falling off a cliff or drowning. Why does this impact us so strongly then? We all want to be accepted at some level. We want to fit in and be embraced by our friends or the community. In the past, we lived in small communities, and if you were rejected, it meant you were on your own. Being on your own was certainly dangerous and something to avoid. No one survived on their own for long. So we developed early warning detections to avoid this potential problem. Today it affects us by wanting to be accepted by our peers, colleagues, or community at large. We don't want to be ostracized. Like it or not, we are social creatures, and we fear rejection, either by an individual or a group. It's a powerful influence that we are often unaware of. We also have fears from trauma in the past, family history, and other real things gone horribly wrong. These are all true and valid reasons why fear can have such a strong grip on us. Many things happen and you have no control over the event at the time it occurred. For example, no one would say you are responsible for childhood trauma. However, we do have control of what it means to us today and moving forward. This isn't easy by any means, but it's a choice we can make to become healthier. Maybe you unite with others who face similar challenges to help thousands of people avoid this painful experience. Mothers Against Drunk Driving is a great example of this. I don't know what your path is or what you've gone through, but finding ways to minimize or eliminate your fears is well worth the effort and time. We have experienced pain, trauma, and all sorts of things that basically tell us we are not enough. We are flawed. We are broken. The ultimate fear is fear of not being enough, not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough, not lovable enough. What is driving or feeding this thought or behavior? Where did it come from? Go to the root. Did it serve me at one time in my life but not now? Do you fear change? How can change be fun and enjoyable rather than fearful and painful? Allow yourself to be creative and see the gains rather than trying to avoid the losses. Do you fear that it might not work out? You might make a mistake, lose everything. Maybe it's a door that opens and you go for it. Because you had the courage to go through that door, you can go through another door that transforms your life. However, if you didn't go through that first door, the door with lots of fear, you wouldn't have discovered the second door. The journey is wonderful if you feel life happens for you rather than to you. What fears are holding you back? A helpful technique is getting a piece of paper and writing fear on the left side and courage on the right side. Put an arrow on each end connected with a line. Put a 0 in the middle, a -10 next to fear on the left, and a +10 next to courage on the right. Put little hash marks for all the other numbers on the continuum. Write the question, what fears are holding me back? Brainstorm a list of fears bothering you or holding you back. Just let loose and see what comes to your mind. After you have written at least 10 fears, circle the top 3. Say your top fears are lack of money, poor self-image ruining your life, and messing up on my new job. On the number line, write the word money where you feel it should go. Say it's a problem but not overwhelming or massive at this point, so you put it at the -2 spot. Next, look at your self-image. Let's say for this example, you are pretty down on yourself and it's a huge fear you have. You write it down as a -9. Your new job hasn't started yet, but you are anxious and nervous. However, it's somewhere in between money and self-image. Let's say it's a -4. To try and turn any of these into a +10 with maximum courage will probably feel like a stretch too far. If it feels unlikely or unbelievable, you are less likely to go for it. However, we are highly likely to do things that are realistic and believable to us. For each fear, what would it take to move one number over to the right? So moving money from -2 to -1. What would it take for you to decrease your fear by 1 and move it closer to courage? When you do this for each topic, you will be amazed how your mind comes up with some creative solutions. Congratulations! You just took the invisible and made it visible. If you get stuck, come back to it later or ask a friend for suggestions. Believe me though, ideas will start coming to you. If you repeat this activity over time, you will continue to move away from fear and towards courage. 99% of fear takes place in the past or the future, agonizing about decisions, regrets, or past mistakes. worrying about the future and what will come. If you can be aware of the present moment, where you are right now, fear will dissipate. If you want to lessen the impact fear has on you, consciously decide to live in the present moment. The present is your oasis and gift. Fear simply can't survive here very long. Fear is contagious. It's an energy that's shared just like joy or courage can be. Are you hanging around fearful people? Are you in a fearful environment? Do you have fearful thoughts? Changing the people you are with, your surroundings, and your thoughts removes the fuel that energizes fear. Remember the good news, fortunately. Most fears don't come true. It's usually a lot of wasted energy and time on things that never happen or don't make a difference. A question to ask yourself is, what's worth being fearful? Seriously, what fearful thought is worth your time, energy, and life? Often, fear is an illusion. Do the thing you fear and it loses its power over you. There have been examples of people who were afraid to make phone calls, and after making hundreds of calls, it lost its hold on them. Basically, exposure therapy. If you can't do that, can you eliminate it from your life? Is it something you could do without? If it doesn't serve or help you, why keep it? If it is essential and important, how can you readjust its negative influence on you? Most fears are thinking loops we are associating pain and suffering with. Fear is poor piloting of our thoughts. We are using our imaginations against ourselves. We are limiting our experiences, potential, and quality of life. Is it worth it? Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek." Another area of fear is capability. How can I improve my skills and abilities to be highly competent in an area that is important to me? Competent people are confident people. The antidote to fear is building your skills, bringing the fear out of the shadows and darkness and into the light, recognizing you don't have to believe everything you think. Get curious. Where did that thought come from? Why is this pattern happening? What's true? Where am I strong and where can I improve on? What steps can I take to work on this each week? What treasures will I discover if I enter this cave? Fear can have such a powerful grip on us. Often we are unaware of just how strong it is. When you can eliminate fear's powerful grip on you, a weight is taken off you like you can't imagine. It's very freeing and liberating. Aristotle said, "He who has overcome his fears will truly be free." Always remember this: you are worth it. You deserve the life that is waiting patiently for you on the other side of fear, whether other people see it or not. Sometimes people can't see your dream because it wasn't meant for them. Live fearlessly. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Marie Curie. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. Thank you.